Have you ever taken part in a color challenge for greeting cards? I tried it for the first time in January, and I didn't find it that easy to find the right colors for my card. Today I'm trying it for the second time, and I want to show you my process for it in this video. I hope you like chewing gum, because we're going to make a gumball machine together. My name is Julia, and I'm an enthusiastic card maker and paper crafter from Austria. Welcome to my channel, Julie's Kreativschatzkiste. Since last month, there is not only Kendra's card challenge, but also Kendra's color palette challenge. I will give you a link in my description box to the Facebook group Kendra's card challenge, where you can find all the details. And I already have a few videos on my channel about Kendra's card challenge, where you can make 15 cards using sketches provided for free. What you see in the picture is the card that I made last month in January 2024 for the color palette challenge. I used distress inks for this card because the ones I had went very well with the color scheme. The color combinations in the color palette challenge are based on Sarah Renee Clark's color cubes, by the way. And did I mention that you even can win a prize if you post the card that you have made for the color palette challenge to the Kendra's card challenge Facebook group? Let's come to the current challenge for February, which we want to conquer together in this video. So these are the colors given for February. When I saw these colors, they immediately reminded me of a chewing gum and a gumball machine. And, as luck would have it, I recently bought this die set in a sale at Spellbinders. This is an APG die of the month from 2022. You can use it to make a gumball machine, and that's just perfect for this color palette challenge. So far so good. As the problem of the subject of my card is solved, now comes the hard part, finding the right colors. I knew that I couldn't work with distress inks or oxides this time because I just don't have these colors. So I started going through my alcohol markers and picking out the right colors. Except for the pink one, I was quite successful. I found several markers that could be used for the pink color. None of them fit perfectly, but I set them aside to see later which one would go best with the other colors. However, the alcohol markers won't help me much when it comes to constructing the gumball machine from the die set. So I searched my stash and picked out these papers in the matching colors too. You can actually make a pop-up 3D vignette with this die set, but today we're just going to make a flat card. That's why I didn't follow the instructions completely. By the way, the instructions are very detailed and very easy to understand. That was helpful because there are a lot of different dies in this set. In the next step I thought about which parts should be cut out in which colors. Blue and green are quite the obvious choice for the sky and the grass on which our gumball machine stands on. And then I decided that I would make the machine itself in orange. The decorations will be pink and yellow. And of course, there will be chewing gum inside in all colors. And because it's never wrong to have an interactive card, I'm going to make a gumball machine shaker. For an easy movement of the chewing gum balls inside, I need the chewing gum machine to be of a certain height. That's why I cut out this large basic shape in orange quite a few times. Once I cut it out in white as well, because I wanted to use these gumballs as a background in my gumball machine. And I would like to color them with my alcohol markers. That's why this layer had to be white. For the shaker, each of these orange basic die shapes has to have a window. To make sure this window is in the same place in all the pieces, I'm cutting it out here from 2 pieces at once. With thicker paper, it is of course possible that it will not cut through all the layers. But at least you will have a mark on the second layer, and then you can cut it out again with your die cutting machine. My paper wasn't that thick, so the die was able to cut through both layers. What didn't work for me, however, was the placement on the white layer. The window was in a different place. I marked the opening here with a pencil, and now I cut it out with my scissors. And while I'm already holding the scissors in my hand, I also cut off those side tabs that would only be necessary for the 3D pop-up vignette. Okay, so far so good. Our machine is now taking shape. However, the height wasn't enough for a shaker yet, so I cut out 2 more of these orange basic shapes. To make sure the window is in the same place again, I took one of the existing parts as a template and simply sent it through the die cutting machine and placed the die for the window in the right place. I glued a piece of plastic to the upper layer of my gumball machine. On this layer I also embossed these decorative lines with my die cutting machine. The plastic is some old stamp packaging that I saved. Then I can color in this gumball background with my alcohol markers. When painting with alcohol markers, I tried to maintain shadows and light so that the gumballs appear three-dimensional. I also made sure to distribute the colors evenly. Then the time has come for assembling the gumball machine. Before I do that, I color the edge of the white paper orange so that this layer doesn't shine out white on the side. I also paint everything on the inside of the window in orange. To be on the safe side, I'm now also decorating the top layer of the gumball machine, because if something goes wrong here, I still have the opportunity to replace it. I cut out all these decorative pieces from the yellow and pink paper, and I'm now gradually sticking them onto the front. Since my paper is relatively thin and I actually want to achieve a nice dimension on the gumball machine, I cut out several parts twice and simply glue them on top of each other. Then I can glue the decorations on top of the chewing gum machine. Since I'm not always entirely sure where everything belongs, I always take a close look at the instructions so that nothing goes wrong. As you can see, I have already prepared my paper for the grass in the sky and my blank card as well. So now for real. Now I glue the large gumball machine parts together. I use liquid glue and make sure that I cover all the areas well with the liquid glue, and then I put something heavy on top until it is dry. I'm not gluing on the top layer yet because I still have to attach the decorative elements there. Then I cut out the sentiment. This is a stuck on you that was also included in the die set. Then I cut out individual gumballs with the die, which is also included here, and I colored them again with my alcohol markers. Afterwards I added them to my chewing gum background, and then I can actually stick the first layer on top of the shaker. I use liquid glue again, and I take special care that I cover the entire paper, so that I don't end up with some bubblegum ball stuck in the middle of my machine somewhere. I also quickly stick the sentiment on the front, and then I let the machine dry under an acrylic block. A later test shows that chewing gum balls move freely. When I wanted to cut out the grass in the sky, I realized that my gumball machine was too big for a normal A6 card, so I quickly switched to a slimline card. I cut out the grass in the sky using a rectangular die with stitching details on the edge, and then I left a white border just because that looked really nice. Now I can glue my gumball machine on the card. Then I cut out a few more of the single chewing gums and colored them with my alcohol markers again. I distributed these around the machine, and now I add details with my white gel pen. Okay, so this is the card I want to use to conquer the color palette challenge for February. I think it actually turned out quite nice. The colors also fit quite well, I think. I hope I was able to motivate you to perhaps also take part in this color palette challenge. Just check out the Kendra's Card Challenge Facebook group. There is also a video on the Cards by Kendra YouTube channel. I'll leave you a link in my description box below. The video explains the color palette challenge very well. If you want to take part in the prize drawing, you must post your card in the corresponding album in the Facebook group. I can also really recommend the actual Kendra's Card Challenge. It's really fun. I'm excited to see what colors March will bring, and until then, Servus!